Awesome, welcome everyone. So we're gonna do a little quick fun project together today. It's about analysis of a WhatsApp chart, right? So the chart we picked up today is the ZBIN financial literacy chart, and if you don't know what ZBIN is, a Zimbabwean group which kind of gives people business ideas, and they have a bunch of groups that they have. And in this one, it's the financial literacy one, and you can tell by the sentiments of here: money, business, Bitcoin, success, help system. All of this is coming from this financial leadership group, and this word cloud that you've seen here is made by Python or via Python, right? I did not create this by myself, like on hand by hand typing, right? So I'm not gonna, waste much of time, going through the whole coding stuff, but I'm gonna take you to the notebook either way, and then I'm gonna create a small report and a PDF, which kind of highlights all the charts that we generated using Python in that notebook, right? So without further ado, let's just quickly jump into the notebook, and here are some of the highlights of the things that we'll see. What was most sold? They talk on crypto, what it means to join the ZBI literacy, financial literacy group, right? And what was the most talked about subject, right? And other fun stuff that we're just going to try and look at. And the starting date, as you can tell, is what we see here. All right, over here, 23 June 2022, and the end date of this export is 12 February 2020. If you remember, when you're exporting your charts from WhatsApp, they come as a TXT, so that's what we start by reading. And if you see this message, this is the first one, we just picked it from there. That's the message that we see from there. Okay, now what does the group stand for, right? This is the welcome message that you see, and if you join later you might have missed this, but there are a couple of conventional group rules where scamming is not allowed, politics, pornography, and also respecting the group, ad principles. Some are not for ads, and also opening and closing time. It could be 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You have to check with some of the groups, right? And then it also give you a highlight of what it means to be a subscribed member. You get access to the marketplace for listing, bi-weekly business showers, tools and training, as well as access to all ZBIN platforms, which are so many. They have mining and other financial literacy stuff, groups depending on subjects and so forth, right? And I also get referral business. So it's really a lot to be a subscribed member, right? Which is probably around $5 per year, which is really pretty cool, right? And even what do we see here? They also business showers in reliable essay and expected to do your own seed code training, and also the initiative of the group, which has to do with small business contract with the forum. I think what are they doing? They're developing an app, okay? And also, what else do we see here? Encourage you from buying from one another, and not to be self. It's a very pretty cool group description there. I like the setup as well. Okay, cool. So we kind of do the setup of the charts and check out how many days it took. 248 days, up spanning across these days that I mentioned earlier, to February 12th. From June 23. Okay, cool. And we see that the whole overall messages are coming up to around 8,479, which makes the average messages being sent in a day to something like 9 messages or 10 messages, right? That's the average per day right there. All right, and then here we have all the messages. This is the chart straight from WhatsApp, unformatted, but we do the formatting here so that we tabular the whole thing. We now have our dates and the time, the sender, and the message right over here, which makes it very cool to work with. And now we end up with 9,223 rows across these 4 columns, right? And now let's look at the number of most attachments, right? Number of the attachments, if you notice in this chart, that message will be like media omitted, right? So here, when you see media omitted, that means the chart, this one was an attachment, right? So that's what we just do. We count, we see that there are about 66 unique dates. What else do we see here? We see the frequency being 112 or 112, right? So we create a bar chart and see exactly who sent the most attachment in that group, all right? And we see it's this person here with this number, has the most attachments in the group, okay, which will be interesting to see because how many were these? 111. Okay, that's a whooping number. Followed by this question, alright. So we come down here just quickly to explore what kind of charts that they were doing. If we do, let's see. Okay, this is the function that will help us pull up 5 of their messages, alright. I'm just gonna copy the number up over here, and okay, awesome. I'm gonna do this. Hold on a second. Okay, awesome. So there we go. We're pulling up the first number, and you can tell that these are just attachments, right? Omitted. And it looks like there are so many of them from there. And we're just pulling up their charts, and you notice that they don't really see much, do they? They don't really see much. They're just working on attachment all the way. They just send attachments one after another, which is very interesting, all right? Okay, so that's what we see here. Let's see if we can do the tail part of it, which will be number 1. Okay, so this is towards the end of their chart. Okay, we see that as again they don't post much. It's just attachment. So I think they are advertising through flyers maybe. But we see here there's a little bit something that we can help us see. They are more into phones. So this is a person who sent the most attachments, right? So it'll be interesting to see how much business traffic they manage to attract from the group. If we could talk to them, see if the group is helping grow their business, if they're sending these attachments to the group like that, right? Okay, that's the leading number on in terms of attachment to the group. Let's look at the second one. Okay, this one is not. They don't really post. Okay, so this one is an interesting one. They don't really post attachments all the time. They're leading on attachments, and they're second in attachments. But you see that they actually do post something that has to do with the business plan. You see something about Morocco over here. Let's see what they posted last. Not in Zimbabwe. Okay, but they're not really like in attachment center all the way like what we saw the first guy doing. So this is a good member. I think they kind of have balance in their posting. We don't know their name. But let's see the third one. The third one again is not an always attachment center, right? You see here they're talking about success, but here we see the attachments, right? So they also post the attachments, but not always. Okay, why did Morocco apply to join the EU? Okay, some of the policies that they send, right? So this completes our top 3 most attachment centers, and then we see intent and royal finishing up our top 5 of the most attachment centers in the group. Okay, doing that part. Okay, and then let's look at the most active participant, right? This is just doing by the counting the number of messages from the people, right? And here we see the person who was second on attachment being the one who's leading on chat, right? They've sent over 809 messages, and Royal is on the second, followed by a South African number and another South African number. And again, this person is also on the top 5 of attachment centers, and before we see Victor coming through. Okay, so that's the number, the people who are the most active participants right there. Okay, cool. We don't want to spend much time over here. We're gonna make this up into a PDF. Okay, that will also help us. Okay, and we also kind of see what they were talking about. That's what we see over here. And let's see what the guys in South Africa are talking about. Here we see, and I think he's in Victor is a little more balanced since he is the group admin. He kind of posts a variety of charts over there from business to entertainment and attachments, as we can see. Okay, no pressure on that one. Let's see some of our friends from South Africa. What will be the posting about? All right, just quick glimpse into that. Again, I think it's about the entertainment stuff, right? Okay, so we see there's a little incorporation of entertainment in the financial literacy group. Let's see the other number from South Africa. Into mathematics, Bitcoin. I think there's one crypto picture there in the financial literature group. I think it should be Metamorphosis, or something like that. And I think he's the guy who talks about crypto the most. Okay, so we see him here as well on the top four. Okay, one of these two guys right there. Awesome. So what was the most mentioned subject? All right, if you remember, this is where we got this word cloud. Right, it's not very difficult to create. I simply installed word cloud for me, which is very tiny. It's 158 kilobytes, but it works really good. Comes up with the word chart like this, which is pretty awesome. Makes you look like you're very genius, but it's not really. Okay, so we're gonna skip part of this part, but what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna tell you is there are a lot of words that are there. Some of them are pretty unique, and finance terms that I could pick up or think of include all of these that I've listed up over here. So if I run a cell, I should be able to get back the word in how many times it was mentioned, right? For example, I type diamond, nothing comes out of that one. Let's see company. Okay, it was mentioned 51 times, all right? How about income? Income was mentioned 21 times, all right? How about fraud, all right? Just want to see if fraud is also mentioned. Fraud was not mentioned at all. How about assets? Or just asset maybe? 54 times. Excuse me, 54 times, all right? So that's pretty. You see, some of these financial terms would come up a couple of times, all right? And some of them will not really come up that much. For example, corruption. I don't think there's mention of corruption. It was mentioned about 50 times. Okay, that's cool. Lovely. All right, so you see, this is what we do, and then that's what we're just trying to see what was the most spoken subject. All right, and as you can tell here, the word business, or the subject business, right, it took about 15.8, close to money, 15.4, and then Bitcoin 13.8, followed by a bunch of other financial terms, right, that we see all around here. Okay, but not taking that much up. Okay, I think I should also have included technology, right, because technology is one of those where people, where the world is going in general. Technology, yeah, that's all mentioned 51 times, not really much. Okay, cool. So we kind of see the general overall financial term spectrum that after group right there. And then let's look at the member demographics, right? So here we see that the people, or the traffic by state, 64%, or almost 65% is coming from a plus 260 community, right? So the Zimbo take the lead there, followed by the plus 27 community, which are the South African friends. And then we also have Royal. Okay, this one is not a number, but this is an individual. Very interesting that Royal is taking 77% of the traffic, and then Mozambique coming through with 3.8, almost close to Vegas, right? And this tiny one is mine, your gardener. That's my handle right there. I also contributed a little bit. I can see it's not that much, very insignificant. And a few other people that have unique number or unique name, we see them also over here. But we see that most of the traffic comes from Zimbabwe, okay? And South Africa. A little bit from Mozambique. I think we could do a little bit better because Rio is actually taking much. Is actually pulling out traffic more than Mozambique, or the whole of Mozambique. So it's something to look at, okay? And here are the most days that we had most traffic, right? In terms of 2023, we see that February 2 was that day. In terms of 2022, we see that December 11 was that day. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see what was being spoken about in that days. Okay, and then that's what we do here. We run it, and we see this is the head, which has 5 messages, and this is the tail with 5 messages. So as you can tell, on that day there were about let's see, 264 messages that were sent. And is that correct, or this could be more? There are 408 draws. Okay, but 264 messages. Okay, I think let's see over here what it says. Okay, there we go. This is an interesting message. Morning Zimbabweans, Mukai Tambure. That's an interesting morning right there. Okay, so but you can tell that this is to do with Morocco and the World Cup, right? So December the 12th, I think we got so much traffic in the group based on Morocco, and all the World Cup in general. But most specifically Morocco, I would like to say, because what we do is we ran through that day. Okay, you see, Morocco is one of the most mentioned word right there, and you can tell that here they see Dynamo Europe, Liberia, Chitambua, which kind of shows that it was also at that day. So it looks like people got really emotional about Morocco for some reason. I wonder why it attracted all that attention, right? But that's one of those very busiest day in 2022. In 2023, we saw that it was February 5. Okay, and what was the story there? Mm, we see the mention of oxymoron, and there's a little bit of shining crispy, maybe gentleman difficult. And if we come down here, we do a sample. We see there's a pursuit of success. Now, what is success? Another person asking the same question. You see, this is 17:15. This was in the evening, but this was in the morning. So it looks like the whole day people were talking about success. And I think we kind of see that too here. We do the word value content. We see success, being mentioned 108 times on February 5. So kind of go there. I think you will find some rich, contributions about success, because it looks like the whole day was dedicated to that. So those are some interesting insights. All right. So let's look at the most active time of the day. All right. We just kind of pull through. Okay, this is our date, and this is a little bit of sample or that we do there. We see that there's date and the time, so we just want to focus on that hour time. Okay, that's what we work through over here, so don't worry much about that. What we're interested in is the count, okay, of these messages that we see. And here we put it up on a heat map kind of chart, which is a scatter plot. But if you look at it, it kind of shows us exactly what time of the day is the busiest. And you'll be very surprised to notice that the busiest time of the group is not during work hours. It's after. Okay, you see here, right here around 8. This is where we see around 543 messages being sent up. And this is what we see over here. These are the numbers. It's like around 12 after 8. Oh wow, there used to be a song by called After 8, right? Remember, I don't know if you know that song. It was a ghetto song, After 8. And around 10 and 11, also 10, 9, 10, 11, I should just say. And then 7, 8. I think this is what we see over here as well. Okay, 9, 10, 11. There's so much traffic going on. It kind of starts a little early, around 7. It kind of drops when people are at work. It picks up after people are at work. I think people work slightly around 30 minutes, and then they're back on WhatsApp, straight to ZBI and Financial Literacy Group, making contributions on what they're seeing during the day. But from 11 to 12, watch the drop. It kind of just dies down and starts picking after lunch. See that? This is the 14th hour. 15, 16, people are going home. It drops a little bit. It drops as well as people. Okay, so people get stuck in traffic. They are not on WhatsApp here. They're eating, they're having dinner from 17, 18, and then at 19, boom, look at that. Everyone is accounted for. And people kind of sleep way too early, I think. This is what we see here. And around 10, people are forced to sleep. Look at that. Just 20. Just 11 o'clock, people are down asleep. This is what at 12 o'clock after midnight. A few more people will be awake throughout the night, as we can see, and some wake up a little early, 6 a.m. People are already up and talking. There's not much at 7. Oh, there we go, 7 o'clock. Boom, another rise, sharp rise, right? So it would have been nice if we could do a line plot where we could actually follow the trend. It will be very interesting. We see a sharp drop between 11 and 12, and also between 8 and 9. That's interesting to see, all right? So that's pretty much the quick analysis of the chart, the finance solutions chart. Okay, I don't know how much time we took with this one, but it was really fun to see, right? We could also try and make a model out of this and try to predict how much of the contributions we're gonna see. Okay, but anyway, for now, I think it's a good start. It's not really bad. We kind of get a little bit of insights into what the group makeup, what is it that it stands for, and what people are talking about, what topics get people hyper and typing and contributing to the group. Okay, and everything in between, you kind of saw that I too as well. So this is just a quick little one, but it was really fun, and I think we're gonna end it here. Take care of yourself and take care of your loved ones. Goodbye.